The video idea was brought to you by Barry. Subtitles are available. Make sure to check out how to make an ESL strat video on the top right corner of this video. Keep in mind that the strat is only low percentage of the vid fragment. This strat will give you and your team an idea how to approach an attacker's execution, roam clear, and how to make ifs. Making strat is a making plan for your round, and with that plan, you can and should always adjust it depending on what attackers are bringing on the table. So, as much as this game is for adaptability, if you and your team want to get the game into the competitive level, you will need to make your own strats, or adjust the ones that I'm making. Fundamental thing for every strat is that every member of your team needs to understand the logic behind it. The defense episode will be split in two parts. The first one will be how to make standard defense strats, and the second part will be how to make poker strats. In this in mind, let's get going. With the defense strat, you are forcing attackers to play on your ground, play on your music, and by your rules. Your defense strat defines the outcome of the round, as attackers are more for adaptation, whereas defenders can follow up from strict guidelines. Also, you will have to pay attention for the common band, which massively includes Mira. Therefore, I would strongly recommend that your team has a Mira and a non-Mira strat. So your starting point when doing a standard defense strat on the map, an objective should be: how do you want to play this strat? Which part of the map do you want to heavily hold? Which operators would you like to bring on the table, and is it Mira, Clash, Pulse, or anything else? Let's take an example of Border, and you can defend this objective from heavily holding CCTV, opening one of the locker's wall. You can also play this vertically, it's more rare nowadays, or you can be defending archives and office. Let's assume that you want to do that, and you want to hold office as heavily as possible. Possibly someone by the office sandwich position, and the open south wall of archives. Now the following question should be: how to stall attackers or even nullify their push? What can you expect attackers to do? In this scenario, attackers are pushing office. You can do several things to stall their push, such as bandit or Kai trick into triple walls, play around office or fontaine with several mid-jammers and mozy pests, bringing in clash. You can even play in the break as well as archives and have long angles on them, or you can even play underneath with pulls in the toilet. There are many possibilities and you will want to pick one of them, or merge some of them. Now, you will want to see what can attackers do still to push their way in, and which attacking operators would you like to see gone. Denying mid-jammers, kite, and belly charge by the triple walls can be easily done from the roof. Will you bring Jaeger then? What if Thatcher was left unbanned? Maybe put an ADS further away from the triple wall. The Clash thing. Obviously, having crossfires on her as a taker is only possible thing. However, Capito, Nomad, and possibly Zofia could hard counter her. Should she play less aggressive like in Fontaine or by the rotation of Archives? In case you are having long angles from break and archives, that means you're dedicated on winning gunfights. What if attackers are pushing you firstly from the CCTV, then go to office? Or if they just open up the doors and the window of CCTV, should you continue to play inside? Maybe mix up long angle with the pulse underneath to call if break players are safe. Are you playing heavily or just with pulse from under? Are your anchors too vulnerable? Will you be able to do enough damage? There are many questions and many possible possibilities, and I have given just the basic ones. Feel free to ask down below for more advanced questions that you could be asking in this scenario. Okay, so when you get all this, the objective, where you want to hold, how do you want to hold, and how to sell attackers push, you possibly get two operators to play with. Let's assume that in this situation you want to go with Clash and Kite, to Kite trick the triple walls from the Fontaine. Now you're left with three operators. Well, you have to play with at least two, if not three information operators in your strat. Information operators means that you either take the intel from attackers like Mute, Mozi, Maestro, or Vigil, or you get the information, again, Maestro, Valkyrie, Clash, Legion, etc. Defense strats without mirror relies on information which allows defenders to play aggressively, hence the aggro meta. Bulletproof camera can also replace an information operator. You will usually always want to have smoke or echo. Echo has priority over smoke. I'll talk about the priorities a bit later. So now you have at least 3 operators. The other 2 operators or the left operator are usually recommended to be ones that are helping with your intentions. In our example, we have Clash, Guide, and Smoke. Echo is a standard ban everywhere. A good operator will be Doc. He brings Bulletproof camera and he can juice Clash up back to 100, making here hard counters not anymore hard. Additionally, you can never go wrong with information operators, but be aware that you would really want to have at least one free speed or at least two speed operators if needed. So Mozi as an intel operator will be great. Now, the important part of the utility usage as well as the position of the players. Obviously, in our situation, we would like to use as much things in the office as possible, having into the consideration that we'll still have to use some utility for the lockers push. Also, in your strat, you need to take consideration of how many shotguns and NIPA grenades do you have. In this strat, we have Clash with barbed, Kaid with shotgun and barbed, Smoke, shotgun and barbed, Doc, bulletproof camera, and Mosey with shotgun and C4. We will have probably enough shotguns, therefore using barbed is recommended. For the barbed wires, in the most basic explanation, you want to use them in a way so attackers cannot as easily destroy it and are forced to go through it. There are usual go-to barbed wire placements. In our example, we have 3 of them, which are one by the locker's entrance, one by the mid of the staircases, and the last one is by the long. Similar thing goes with the reinforcement. I would recommend to go with reinforcement before any other utility. You obviously need to reinforce some of the walls, and in our example, they will build double locker walls, and one of the archives wall. Rest 7 are up to you. We will obviously reinforce the shipper walls as well as the fontaine walls, facing short. And then we are left with 2 reinforcements, which we can use on the break walls facing 90. As for the positions, you definitely want to consider to have crossfires. Also consider the combos, like Dock and Clash on ACOG is a very strong combo. Having Clash by the office close to the fontaine allows you exactly this, ACOG and Clash. Having Smon in the cubby and lockers will make sure that their push is stalled if locker push. The rest is up to you. You can even consider to play in the shore and not to reinforce both of the fontaine towards the short wall, so you can even now establish crossfires in the office. And yippee! We have made together a shot for the family border with a heavy office hold. We are not over yet, but before I jump on the next topic, I want to ask you if I wasn't clear enough or skipped a specific topic. Ask me down below. There will be 2 more things. The issue of defending is that you cannot defend both objectives heavily, and that is huge issue for newer teams. The teams simply want to have a heavy CCTV hold and as well as heavy office hold. That's not working. You're making huge loopholes in your strat then. It could work for the poker strat, but if you want to make a standard strat with as less errors, then you will be doing a defend mostly to deny one push. What can be a loophole over here? Are you playing with 2 people in the CCTV, 2 by the office and fontaine? Then you have 1 player either in the archives or lockers. Well, all of your operators are in fixed positions, not allowing your flexibility, and attackers can easily abuse it. For an instance, go underneath and clear out CCTV players easily when pushing through the second floor CCTV at the same time. It's very hard from office to hold CCTV break, and actually you can only hold break door from the office. Also, speaking of 2 ways defending, even when doing a defend to deny a push, you have to ask yourself, what to do if. What would you do if a locker's push happens? Well, obviously, you will rotate your clash. But would you try to contest their CCTV and break push with the other operators, or try to get the control with the clash? What would you do if they're set up to play vertically? Do you open vertical holes or even hatches so you can drop down there? The more you get prepared for a situation, the better your strat is. It's all about adaptability, and if you have thought of that, you will have easier time adapting to it. Another little tip is try to make that anchors can influence over the realm hunters as much as possible, like having vertical angles on the borders, lockers on the workshop, ventilation, and main hall. Thank you for watching the video. If you have any feedback, let me know down in the comment section below. If you would like to support me, drop me a like, subscribe, and click the notification bell to get all notifications on my channel. Make sure to join my Discord server and to follow me on the Twitter.